What's up, guys? In today's video we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, and I want to talk about the very important support area at around 30k. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at in terms of going long, and I'm also going to show you what levels I'm looking at if we do drop lower. Right, so this is Bitcoin, BTC, USD on Bitstamp. The strong support level that I'm talking about is obviously this level right here at around 30k. This was the level that we got bought up from when we had that massive dump in the end of May, you know, when we dumped straight through the 50k level right down to the 30k level, had a very strong bounce, and that got reacted again at the 43k area. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it happened so very quickly. Anyway, this area is, if you know your horizontal levels, it should be quite clear why this is an important level. You have a very strong, reaction on the bounce here, here, and here. It's obviously a very strong support area. Just looking at the reactions right here. Because when you do, when you're looking for your horizontal levels and you find a level that has a lot of touches and every bounce, well, obviously it doesn't have to be every bounce, but when there's a lot of bounce and a lot of tests where the reaction to that level is very violent and very strong, it's going to tell you that it's obviously a level of importance, because when price hits that level, if you have a down move hits that level as support and a lot of buyers step in, you know that the interest from buyers are quite high in that area. So one way to determine a level of being strong or weak is looking at the violence of the reactions at the level, right? So just taking that into consideration, this is obviously a very strong level. Looking at the history of Bitcoin in this range right here, it's a very strong level that we need to hold. The bulls need to step in here and hold this area. If we do lose this area, I got my eyes on the 0.618 level down here. Let me show you how I drew that fib. So if we go to the weekly, I've used the low of that candle and the high of that candle, and if we switch the template here on the fib tool, you will see all the levels right here, and it's aligning quite nicely. I like the fact that the 50% right here is right around the 34k area. It's a crucial area, this level right here, the area confluent with the weekly 50 EMA and the 50% level. It's also where we have the range low of the range that I'm watching, which is this level right here. So we have previous range low, we have the 50% fib, we have the weekly 50 EMA, and we have that descending trend line right here going through that range. It has a lot of touches and a lot of strong violent reactions to that level as a trend line. So in terms of going long, I have two ideas for you guys, right? So we're gonna go through first the long ideas, and I'm gonna be watching a possible short idea, right? And the idea here is to possibly maybe go long first and then possibly go short if there's confirmation of that short. If that short is invalidated, we can go long on the invalidation of that short. I'm going to show you in detail exactly what I mean. So first we're going to go through the long ideas and that short idea, and then we're going to look at the levels below. So looking at the 1 hour right here, we are actually right now testing the local long RLC, the reload zone, right? I've been using the reload zone a lot in my trading. It's one of my core principle in my system. If I want to go long, usually the best possible entry is somewhere around or inside the long RLC. Same with going short, obviously. You want to short RLC, long RLC. Let me show you what that is right here. I use the low of that one and the high right here, and as you can see here, we get the long RLC coming in here perfectly at that support area. So we are actually seeing some pretty decent price action inside the reload zone right here. Looking at the 15-minute, we do have higher lows right here. Could probably add a trend line right here. That trend line definitely makes sense. Could probably connect the high up here that one. You see, that definitely makes sense right here. So one way to trade this would be, because we have a nice move inside the long RLC right here, but I'm not really ready to ready to long this just yet. I would like to see a proper break and retest of this area right here first. So the way I'm using long RLC here is just to find an area of interest, right? So if there's strength inside the long RLC, I'm definitely going to look to go long, but I would like to see usually like a nice break and retest of the 618 level. So right here we have a decent SR level. I'm gonna use that one, and let's use that low. So as you can see here, we have a level confluent with the 0.618 and that trend line right here. So what I would like to do here is I would like to see something like this, right? Break above that trend line right here, come down and retest that area, and then come up and test the weekly 50 EMA. So this right here would obviously be a short-term trade. Of course, that could be your partial take profit area, and then you hold the rest of the position in case you actually do enter that previous range. So the long idea would be this, right? Go long and break and retest here. I would like for that to be, if you look at the 1 hour, I would like to have at least a 1 hour close or 1 hour open and close above the trend line and above this area. And best case scenario, it is a rounded retest on the 1 hour. But looking at the 50 minute here, the structure is pretty clear on the 50 minutes. So it could be a nice break and retest, like a 1 hour open and close above the level and the trend line, and then a nice rounded retest on the 50 minute. This is a nice rounded retest right here. So let's say that this is the breakout level, that's the support level you want to be buying, and you want that type of rounded retest. How is that looking on the 1 hour? Yeah, so on the 1 hour, that's a pretty decent rounded retest as well, right? So you could just look at that on the 1 hour as well. But if you get a if you get a round retest on the 50 minute, that is good as well. So in terms of take profits on this area, obviously we need to, like, the stop loss would probably be below that level right there, or all the way down at below the long RLC. So the take profit one would probably be somewhere in this area, because like the first take profit is going to be the next resistance above. So looking at the 1 hour, we definitely have some type of resistance area right here. So I would like to take some profits at this area at around 1.4 or 1.3, something like that. So that would be the first take profit. I would then wait for price to kind of peak above this resistance zone right here and take another profit at the hit of that trend line, because this is a very important trend line, right? I definitely think price will react to that trend line. Now, if price is going to continue moving like this and we then have a confirmation here, obviously when that trend line the closer that trend line comes to this level right here, you could focus more on this area and not taking a partial profit right here, because the breakout right here, the risk to reward isn't really worth it. So you might take your second profit up in this area instead. So if we do, like, if this does activate, tonight or when I'm sleeping or tomorrow, I would definitely go long and break and retest of this area. Obviously not when I'm sleeping, but you could do that, right? Take some profit here and then leave the position open in case you do enter the previous range, right? I would take profit one around 33k. So the break and retest, the entry would be around 31.5 or 31.4, I would say. The first take profit would be around 33. I would then leave the position open for higher targets. And if we do reclaim this area right here, stuff starts to become bullish again, we might see that full range resolution all the way up to the 41k area. Right, so we have another idea right here. Another long idea would be to just patiently wait for this to form and patiently wait for the previous range low to get reclaimed. Wait for this area right here to get reclaimed as support. I would then look at something like this, right, where I have the stop loss below the last swing low, wherever that is, probably somewhere in that area. First take profit would be range EQ, second take profit would be range high. So that is the full range resolution that I'm talking about and what I'm looking at in terms of going long. I'm going to update my weekly 50 EMA and the weekly 20 EMA. So let's just add that a second here. Yeah, the weekly 50 EMA right here and the 20 is right here. So I like this because we now have some nice confluence here with the range highs and the weekly 20 EMA, and it's also where we have, if you go to the higher time frames, it's also where we have the the 0.382 fib right there, right? So there's a lot of confidence in that area. So that is going to be a strong resistance area. That's why it should be your last take profit. So those are the two longs. Going long down here, the risk to reward is fantastic, because what you could do is you go long on the low time frame break and retest, stop somewhere below here, and that would be your first take profit, second take profit, and third take profit. So the average R on this trade would be somewhere around 5, while the average take profit on this one, or the average R on this one, will be somewhere around 3.5. So obviously the risk to reward on the first idea is obviously much higher, but the risk is obviously also much higher. So because of the risk is quite high, I would of course move my stop to entry as soon as that TP1 area hits. So that's the two long ideas I'm watching. Honestly, I might not take this trade below, because I'm not going to be trading this weekend. I feel like this weekend I'm usually like my hit rate is catastrophic on the weekends. Like, I'm not supposed to be trading on weekends. I'm supposed to relax, you know, gather my energy and kind of recharge my energy for the coming weeks. I mean, for the coming weekdays. And I'd like to do more, markets planning and scanning and doing that kind of stuff, and generally review on the weekends, much more important than actual trading, in my opinion. So now if we dump lower, like, what levels are we looking at, right? So you guys know that I'm using the reload zone a lot in my analysis, and it's really tempting to just put this on right here. It's really like, it's just such a beautiful level. It's really tempting. Just put this on right here, look at the high time frames, see, oh man, if we do enter a proper bear market here, if we do dump lower, if we do lose the 30k area, obviously I'm going to look at the 0.618 level, which is around 27k. 27k, very, very important support. Lose that one, and I'm not gonna say free fall, but it's definitely, if we do lose the 618 to 27k area as support, this whole area right here is going to be my area of interest for potential reversal, right? So it's a very wide area. I like the fact that these last all-time highs from 2017 is a quite interesting area right inside the long RLC, but that is way lower. So the next strong major support level that we have to be watching is the 27k. It's where we have the 0.618 level right here. Okay, I also talked about a short trade in the beginning of the video. I'm gonna show you guys that one as well. So let's go with the 4 hour. Let's add the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA and the 4 hour. Let's add the stochastics RSI as well. So what I'm thinking here in terms of a short trade is the local trend is down. We're below the daily EMA, like the daily 20 EMA, the daily 50 EMA. We are in a quite bearish trend right here locally on the daily and the 4 hour. And I'm thinking, we have a pretty decent level here for potential short. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to add the reload zone again, but instead of, using the low to the high, I use the high to the low to find the bearish fibs and the short RLC, which looks like this. Now, what are you seeing right here? Well, I'm seeing something very interesting. I'm seeing the fact that let's change the template here to so I'm seeing the confluence here is pretty obvious, right? You have the 4 hour 50 EMA right inside the short RLC. You have the weekly 50 EMA right inside the short RLC. And at the top of the RLC, you have the 50% major high time frame fib, and you have that trend line right here. So if we do get a move up into this area right here, I'm definitely taking profits on any longs. And I'm looking at going short if there's a clear rejection, right? Now, what is a clear rejection? We might get a wick up to that trend line. We might get a wick up to the trend line or whatever. But if we do get like a 15-minute break in market structure inside this zone, and at the same time, while printing a 15-minute break in market structure, we also print a 4-hour bearish engulfing inside this area. While the stochastics RSI is above 70, gotta be above 70, and possibly even printing a bear cross above 70 inside this area. In my opinion, you have the recipe for a very, very interesting short trade. Now, if you change the template on this fib right here to the normal one, I'm going to show you how I would normally trade that, right? So that will look something like this, where I want to go short somewhere in this area depending on what price action gives me. stop loss above the swing high, or if you really want to get that tight entry, if you do have a very proper bearish engulfing and you know maybe swing high here, you can just put the stop loss above the short LC, but in this case I want to use that one. So the first take profit would be the 0, the second take profit would be, that's a long tool, that's not going to work for a short, that's the proper one. So let's short somewhere in that area, stops above that swing high. First take profit, the 0% fib, the second take profit, the -236. Now look at the interesting confluence right here. Right between the 50% fib and the 618, you have the high time frame minus the high time frame 618, right? So that is going to be my, I'm going to front run that a little bit with a, you know, taking profits at the 50. So the average R on this trade would be somewhere around, I don't know, 3, which is definitely, you know, acceptable. So that would be the short trade, you know, first take profit, second take profit, and third take profit at the 50, or even all the way down here. But I think the high time frame 618 is going to act as a very major support area. All right, guys, that's it for, whoa, I hit the mic. Sorry about that, guys. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you like this video and want more stuff like this one. All right, guys, take care and see you guys on Monday when I'm holding the Business webinar, and I'm also going to, you know, I'm really waiting for the legacy markets to open, and I'm pretty sure you guys know why. We have a bunch of interesting setups coming out in the Business, most likely on Monday or Tuesday. All right, guys, take care.